So here is the grid lineup for race number 1 for the BNT V8s from Hamilton. John McIntyre off the pole alongside Angus Fogg. A row 2 start for Timmy Edgell alongside Christchurch's Andy Knight.
We filtered back through then, of course, to Kane Scott, suffering with a bit of an engine problem. Paul Manuel, very good job in qualifying. Eddie Bow, good to see him back. Another guy that is suffering for car speed is Craig Baird, a championship contender.
Well, he had an issue in qualifying, of course. Andy Booth qualifying on the 5th row alongside Wade Henshaw. Gene Rollinson on debut in the BNT V8s. He will line up alongside John Penny in the Penny Holmes Falcon.
Then go back to Simon Richards and Hayden McKenzie. Martin Short, one of the guys going for Rookie of the Year honours. Then right back to Nick Ross.
And it's a row 9 start for Matt Lockwood. He will start alongside Dean Perkins in the LG4. Then it's David Hopper and Christina All-West to complete the lineup ahead of John Hepburn, Andrew Anderson and Scott McLaughlin. 20 plus of the fire-breathing BNT V8's about to erupt on the streets of Hamilton on a drying track. Talk about drama. We've got drama before even the races started here. John McIntyre leading them down to the lights out. Angus Fogg onto his outside, Timmy Edgell and Andy Knight from the 2nd row. You can see Craig Baird there just sticking his nose out before the race start. This is one of the slowest lead-ups we've seen to a race start so far in the championship.
Yeah, that might pay, it might not work off, because if they get wheel spin, they're going to go nowhere. Lights are out, boys are on.
Paul Manuel.
Oh, sideways,
Contact.
Paul Manuel. Timmy Edgell sideways, front of Craig Baird.
Baird avoided it. Edgell into the concrete off the race start.
Right, Johnny McIntyre filtered back to 3rd place already. Contact there, Andy Booth inside of Paul Manuel into Craig Baird. And this is only turn 1. They're not even at it yet.
Timmy Edgell looking to get himself turned around, and Angus Fogg has come out in the race lead on the run down to turn 2. McIntyre to the inside of Andy Knight.
Right, there he goes, got the inside running now. Look for the freight train movement here. Bit of smoke going on. These guys trying to get through turn 2. It's so tentative, it's so slippery for these guys.
Paul Manuel was right up against the concrete in the Oryx Commodore, and he continues to get filtered back as Craig Baird to the inside. I think that's Gene Rollinson who's made a fantastic start.
Yeah, not surprising. Gene knows how to battle. He knows how to mix it in there with these big guns, so it's exactly what we've seen.
Gene Rollinson in the car formerly raced by Jason Barguana, who's on supercar duty, of course, this weekend in Hamilton. He was helped into the championship by the likes of Schneider Electrical. So good to see the youngster in the BNT V8s as Eddie Bell's trying to get a run on him. His Tulloch Motorsport teammate, they get through the chicane for the first time. Dean Perkins right there at the tail of the group. He started out of pit lane. But what a dramatic start. It erupted right off that race start. Was that maybe a legacy of such a slow start on the run down to the flag? Was
everybody just trying to anticipate when the lights are going to go out, because at that speed, if you can get another 5 or 10k advantage once it turn green, you're going to jump 3 or 4 cars. And that's what we saw. Like the other car classes, this is a rolling start, so of course you hit turn 1 50 or 60k faster. Here we go.
Here's the peak antifreeze replay of the start. Now it's the 2nd row you need to watch. Foggy got an absolute fly, and it was a bit of a concertina effect. It looked like Bell and Manuel made contact. Manuel turned into the back of Timmy Edgell and turned him around. Front splitter just got destroyed by a couple of cars running over it and behind, but that was just sort of one of those classic concertina effects with 2 or 3 cars trying to get into that one spot, just not really working out.
Yeah, it's never going to work out well.
There's an investigation call from race control for Tim Edgell, who was, well, he was the one that really lost out in that deal, so...
Yeah, not at all surprising. They'll probably review and say, right, what caused the change of actions for Timmy to go sideways down the front straight?
Now, from the championship point of view, you've got 1st and 3rd in the points, the first 2 cars on the track. Craig Baird's got a pretty solid start. He is in the 7th position in the United Ford. So there's Fogg with a little bit of an advantage now over John McIntyre. Andy Knight in 3rd, Kane Scott in 4th. And we talked about Kane Scott being a possible spoiler. He's right out of the championship contention, but knowing Kane, he'll still want race wins. Paul Manuel back there with Wade Henshaw as they file through the chicane complex. Scott McLaughlin from the tail of the field after some engine woes and qualifying in the Super Chief Holden. He was a last start winner at the final race in Taupo.
Yeah, we saw that, didn't he? The reverse grid race there. He just come on strong, he backed himself, and he actually won that race on merit, because a lot of guys, they start from the front of those reverse grid races and work dividends, but he actually started from the middle of the field, won it, but here we are at the ITM 400. after that engine change. He's making a lot of places up very quick. And, of course, he is in Rookie of the Year honours, Martin Short. He's currently 5 or 6 places up the road. So
yeah, 98-point advantage. At the beginning of the weekend, it was 82, but Martin Short was assessed with a penalty off the back of Taupo, and it did cost the youngsters some points. So that's been the Rookie Championship battle right throughout the season with Martin Short and Scott McLaughlin as Craig Baird goes to work on Andy Booth, who's looking to maintain that 4th overall in the championship. Gene Rollinson with a great start. It's Paul Manuel, so he's just got filtered back in those early laps as Matt Lockwood goes up the inside of Martin Short, who we're on board with now.
Quite possibly that Paul Manuel car got a bit of incident at that first corner accident that we saw as a result of that, so he's struggling. But Angus Fogg, fastest lap of the race at 39.4, Johnny McIntyre at 40.0, and then Andy Knight third place at 39.6. So these guys all got speed. We've seen a whole lot of yellow boxes come up all over the timing monitor in front of us, so the track is drying. These guys are starting to understand where the braking markers are, where the throttle application positions are. But give it a 2 or 3 laps. Once these wet weather tyres, if that's what they're on, and I think they are, start to go off, we're going to see these cars move, shake, rattle and roll.
Eddie Bell's got a gap between himself and teammate Gene Rollinson. And let's talk about the chicane here for a moment, because you've got your 3 tyre bundles through the chicane. They don't have the timing loop like the V8 Supercars introduced in Adelaide and are subsequently using here in Hamilton. So we're back to status quo with the BNT V8s.
Oh, there you go. That's exactly what we're talking about. Angus getting completely sideways there.
John McIntyre definitely closing again. Matt Foggy with a little mistake over the back of the circuit.
Look, Johnny McIntyre was half a second slower than Angus, but Johnny's smart enough to realise that if I just nurse this car for 2 or 3 laps, don't let the tyres go off too quick, Angus is going to try to run and hide. He's going to burn the car up early part of the race. Can't help but think the last third it's going to come to Johnny McIntyre's favour. Yeah,
McIntyre's just set the fastest lap of the race, and he was quickest to the second sector split on that last lap. So that gap's gone down from about 1.2 seconds to 0.9 of a second. So Foggy can't afford to relax. Here's the peak antifreeze replay. Andy Knight just a little bit sideways in the background. He's knocked the left side mirror off that race car. But a good strong run for Andy Knight in that 3rd position. They've been pretty happy with their car over the weekend. As battles further back, Wade Henshaw.
Now these 3 guys, they are all hard chargers, and neither of these guys are going to concede a place. Matt Lockwood, this is not going to work out too favourably. All comes down to 1 place in the end.
12th, 13th and 14th. Henshaw maintains position.
Short's actually fallen a fair way back there, so he's suffering. Dean Perkins not really circulating as well, so if he made a gamble on slick tyres because he started from pit lane, it hasn't paid dividends for him yet.
So on board with Martin Short, chasing down Simon Richards. So Eurodrive Falcon. And other than that, basically opening straight skirmish, it's been relatively straight as Andy Knight's making a big run here on John McIntyre.
Now I was just about to say, Johnny McIntyre had full steam ahead going and catching Angus Fogg, so
Fogg's got away and he's again quickest to the 2nd sector split, so Foggy has made some gains in this last lap.
Yeah, saying that, maybe Johnny just maybe a little bit wide or outbrake himself one of the corners, allowed Andy Knight start paying his attention to Johnny McIntyre. Johnny has a fair bit of car speed. Johnny McIntyre, just looking at the screen, Jamie, he's doing it a lot easier. He's driving natural lines. The other 2 guys starting to throw the car around a bit. And Craig Baird has made his way up to 5th spot, sorry, coming under tension to the cane Scott. Johnny McIntyre suffering. He is hurting. Andy Knight's got a run on him. He's going to get the position going into turn 2. Wow.
Approaching the halfway mark. Knight should have the run here under brakes into turn number 2. Kane Scott coming under pressure from Craig Baird, who's got by Andy Booth in the last lap or so. Knight does it pretty easily under brakes. I think McIntyre maybe just conceded that, but I think McIntyre maybe just losing some car speed.
Yeah, look, I actually thought he might have made an error half a lap before because he dropped right back from Angus Fogg, but maybe he's starting to suffer inside that car.
Let's look at the championship points. Angus Fogg went into the round 32 points up. He's now got a 15-point gain here in the first race with McIntyre back 3rd on track. In fact, it'll be more than that because McIntyre was 3rd in the points.
Craig Baird got a run on Kane Scott coming into turn 5. He's going to make this stick.
So it's a 21-point gain, 53 points as, Baird now just narrows that championship chase again. So Angus Fogg looks to have things under control. He's at the fastest lap, the previous lap at a 1:37.593. Andy Knight quickest to the 2nd sector. And Craig Baird's also he's starting to get away from Kane Scott as we have another look on the peak antifreeze replay. Martin Short shortening up Nick Ross.
Look, he had nowhere to go because one of the David Hopper was actually right in the back of him, and here we go, it's going to be a better shot. Morse code, one, Liberace, side tap, away you go.
So Martin Short and Nick Ross having a territorial dispute. This is another look at it from a different view. Andy Knight was lucky with that one, so was Scott McLaughlin, and there was a whole group of Holdens in that battle group. So Angus Fogg, your race leader here, race 1. The ITN 400 in Hamilton, the first time we've had the championship decider for the BNT V8s here on the streets for the ITN 400. Call on race radio, Mark. Drive-through penalty for Martin Short is Andy Anderson and Simon Richards.
Anderson's in the wall here. No, they're going to make it around. We saw that in the Supercars. Carried a bit too much speed. Look, that's just a couple of guys not giving each other room for these conditions.
Awkward part of the racetrack as well, even though there's lots of room. Hayden McKenzie gets involved in it, and that's Dean Perkins.
Okay, look, Hayden McKenzie come from nowhere there. Let's just hope this doesn't bring out the safety car.
Well, lots of damage to the front of the Albany Toyota Ford and Simon Richards' car, but that's just knocked the front splitter off it. Well, what happened there?
Oh, look, Hayden McKenzie couldn't see the early part of the corner, but either way he got involved in it, but that car is stranded.
Safety car has been dispatched.
Because up until that point, Andy Knight was 0.8 of a second quicker than anybody else on the track, and he was charging towards Angus Fogg out front.
So the Petters safety car will peel off into pit lane, and we will resume race 1 of the BNT V8s on the streets of Hamilton.
Mate, my heart is beating. It's just out of my mouth here. I'm getting pretty wound up about this.
Angus Fogg will lead them down for the restart. He doesn't want to hit that start line too fast. We've seen some penalties for that as Martin Short peels off into pit lane before the restart. Knight looking to the inside, switches back to the outside. John McIntyre back there in third, but Craig Baird, that safety car certainly helped him. Knight looking to go to the outside of Fogg.
Now Baird's looking to do the same thing. He's looking for the crossover manual or the concertina effect.
Eddie Bell sideways out of one. Andy Booth slipped
here we go. Look,
inside.
now this is going to be the treacherous part. They're going to get to turn 2. There's going to be 3 or 4 cars. Manuel got a lot of damage there. Andy Knight's still proving he's got a bit of car speed. Oh, he's got him. He's got him. He's gone sideways.
Knight into the back of Fogg. Fogg recovers.
Oh, wow. Well, now this is it, Jamie. Look, this is the action of plenty. This is where all the debris is. If there's anything left, Angus is going to be the first one to hit it.
Oh, what a recovery from Angus Fogg. Andy Knight's gone back to 4th with McIntyre second. Baird up into 3rd.
Okay, look, that debris is not a factor, thank God, but wow, Angus, championship save. That's all you can say. Possibly will save him the championship, that.
And you've got to give it to Andy Knight. He obviously got out of the throttle because he could have just kept on going with that and completely turned Fogg around. He had to have a go down the inside.
Man, look at that footage, isn't that incredible?
That is a great shot
Andy
from the
Knight got
rearward
past
angle.
the point of no return into turn 2.
Eddie Bell sideways over the
Is he going to collect it? Yes, he did. Well done, Eddie.
Gene Rollinson's got to run on Henshaw and behind him. Again, off the safety car. It's all
now,
happening.
Kane
Rollinson on the inside of Henshaw.
Kane Scott pulled himself back. He's not part of the championship, so let's leave that alone.
Matt Lockwood up the inside of Henshaw. Paul Manuel's in there carrying some front-end damage to the Oryx Commodore. He's to the inside of Henshaw.
Yeah, it means nothing because he's now on the outside of Henshaw coming through turn 9.
Yeah, Kane Scott is right back there. I don't know if he didn't get a good restart.
No, there's more than that because he was actually behind Craig Baird in 5th place. So
Andy Anderson to the outside of Paul Manuel as Andy Knight looking a half look down the inside of Craig Baird. Angus Fogg at the line had a 1.7 second advantage as Henshaw sideways under brakes through 1. He's got the inside run on Lockwood though. He ran it in a little bit too deep. Henshaw in the 9th position.
You can just see, you just got this feeling that something's going to come unstuck here.
Well, we've seen this so often in BNT V8 racing. Paul Manuel to the inside of Andy Anderson.
Johnny McIntyre suffering again. Craig Baird got a run on him here. Andy Knight, of course, Andy Booth. Good to see old Boothie there in this battle as well.
Still some rain out there. You can see on the camera sliding their way through turn number 3.
Mate, I did say it. They had 1 or 2 laps reprieve from that safety car before the tyres would have got built up again. Angus Fogg going for the distance. Johnny McIntyre certainly in defence mode.
It's almost like there's a half drizzle on one half of the track and the other side of the track there's pretty much nothing.
Correct, 100%. We saw that earlier in the weekend, haven't we? There we go on the lens of the camera. The rain's starting to come through, but Johnny McIntyre, and that is these wet tyres starting to go off. Johnny sideways, Craig Baird sideways. Andy Knight looking for a way through.
And don't forget the Rock FM Commodore back there, Andy Booth.
If these guys fault it, Boothie is just going to capitalise and say, thanks, boys.
So Andy Booth looking to maintain 4th overall in the championship. And this is letting Angus Fogg get away out in front, but going back to that incident between himself and Knight, that could be the defining point of the championship, with Fogg recovering that, because the track's damp, they're on tyres that aren't suitable, and I mean, you've driven these cars on tyres going away, and it's like driving on marshmallows.
It is. It's not a complaint, it's not a criticism of the tyre, don't get me wrong. It's just what happens when you put a lot of temperature on a drying track on wet weather tyres. That's what we've seen, that's why these cars are moving around. But interesting, Johnny McIntyre's car, Andrew Anderson off the front straight, probably outbraked himself. Filtered through. Johnny McIntyre is not particularly fast on this part of the track. He gets to turns 6, 7 and 8. He's very strong again. Andy Knight seems to be quick between 4, 5 and 6, so that's why these guys are all battling so close. Boothie there, mate, he's just waiting for it all to happen. Scott Lachlan on the side of Andrew Anderson. Kane Scott.
Oh, one around Dean Perkins in the back is shot there in the second of the LG Fords. He's had an eventful race. Wow. Angus Fogg was a full second quicker than John McIntyre on that last lap, and a second and a half quicker than Craig Baird. Another peak antifreeze replay. This is the incident. Knight into the back of Fogg. McIntyre did a great job to get to the inside, but how big a recovery and how important could that be for Angus Fogg in this championship? Probably wasn't really a gap there, Mark.
No, there wasn't, and if there was a gap, it was certainly diminishing a lot earlier than Andy Knight would have realised, but here we go, Andy Knight starting to probably come under the tensions of Andy Booth. Maybe his tyres have gone off, so
McIntyre in turns just sneaked away from Craig Baird. Angus Fogg has a 3-second advantage. With the last lap forward about to come out for race number 1, looking to extend his championship lead.
Well, mate, the guys that got out of the jail cards in this race, I believe anyway, Angus Fogg survived that turn 2 tap and run by Andy Knight, but Craig Baird looking at a disastrous qualifying session, only qualified 8th up to 3rd, so the championship is still alive.
John McIntyre's just set the fastest lap of the race. In fact, no, Wade Henshaw's just dropped into the 135s and behind. He's battling there with Eddie Bell.
Where did that come from? He's 2 seconds a lap quicker than anybody else.
Angus Fogg is 3.2 seconds ahead of John McIntyre. The championship is at 47 points. Angus Fogg back to Craig Baird, so he's extending here. Eddie Bell to the inside of Wayne Henshaw. He's got a rocket ship going.
I think it's the other way around, mate. I think it's Wayne Henshaw to the outside of Eddie Bell. Henshaw, he is a hard charger at the best of times. He'll be reeling in these conditions.
A 35.6 on the 11th penultimate lap for Wade Henshaw is the fastest lap of the race, but John McIntyre was, well, he's only 3/10 quicker than Foggy. But Angus Fogg looking to take the first race of the weekend and extend his championship lead. Andy Knight's got the front split and dragging down on the front of his car.
That's right, that might be a legacy by that incident with Angus Fogg. That was the other side. Perhaps the tyres, the chicanes have come into play in that damage as well.
What he doesn't want is for that to break and get stuck underneath the front of the car over the back part of the circuit here. He's going to try and drag it home to the finish as Craig Baird's monstering the back of John McIntyre.
Yes, Craig Baird running out of time, of course. You're right about Andy Knight. Look, there's a lot of secure fasteners. They're going to hold that thing on. And Andy Booth will be saying, mate, please let it fall off because I reckon I can get you. But he's running out of corners. 1 to go, of course. Angus Fogg into the front straight.
This is the final lap run. Angus Fogg's going to win the first race of the weekend at Hamilton. Extends his championship lead. It's been an eventful race. The LG Ford wins race number 1. McIntyre holds on to 2nd. Craig Baird in 3rd. And it's a drag race to the line.
Booth got him.
Andy Booth gets Andy Knight right on the line for 4th place. Angus Fogg with the victory from John McIntyre. Craig Baird in 3rd. And they are 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, not necessarily in that order. Andy Booth finishing in 4th after a drag race to the line with Andy Knight, with Wade Henshaw, Eddie Bell, Andrew Anderson, Paul Manuel and Matt Lockwood completing the top 10.